You gotta at least give some love. You guys help everyone. Yes, they do. Yes, they do.
Hello, everybody. You're listening to Mind Your Own Business with Doug and Ed on AM 1220 KHTS, your hometown station. And this is the part of the show that we call T-Lo's Tidbits. Take it away, T-Lo.
Woo! Yay! All right, so we're gonna pep this show up with some exciting events this weekend. I only have two, one on Friday, one on Saturday, so get your pens and calendars ready. Friday, today, is the opening night of To Kill a Mockingbird at the Rep. And they say To Kill a Mockingbird brings a beat of truth to the Rep stage. This is something that only comes around once in a great while. Showtimes are Friday and Saturday at 8 p.m., Sundays at 2 p.m., and this show will run until June 15th. Adult tickets are $25, students and seniors $20, and you can save $5 with your 25 scorecard. Tickets are available at www.repeastplayhouse.org. All right, Saturday, this is a personal event to me that I am helping put on. It is the Brenda Malin Cancer Fund Fight It 5K. This is their largest annual fundraiser. It's a 10K, 5K, and 1K race and walkathon. It is open to walkers, runners, and their canine companions. This is a cross-country trail, so runners can expect a break on their joints. It is Saturday, 7 a.m. at the Central Park. Registration's at 7 a.m., race is at 8 a.m. 10K is $37, 5K is $32, and you can get more information at www.fightit5k.com. And as always, make sure to pick up this week's issue of the Santa Clarita Gazette in free classified at any of your local grocery stores or around town.
And we have a great story this week, speaking of that magazine, about a gal who's a freshman at Canyon High, 14 years old. Her name's Valerie Gonzalez. She made the boys' baseball team. Not the softball team. She made the boys' baseball team. Catcher and pitcher. I think that's
exciting
amazing
stuff.
And we can read all about it in this week's Gazette. Let's bring on our first guest.
Wait.
Go ahead.
In the last segment, we were talking about how upbeat Mother's Day was, and she totally forgot to talk about it.
I think
That's
we
'cause it brings you down
nailed
so
into the
much.
ground that Mother's Day is this Sunday.
Yes.
Okay. Well, I'm feeling a bit. Before we go to our guest, I just want to say, Pete, our amazing control panel, whispered to me that he loves me, and it made me feel so much better. And that's all we need is love. And I just want to thank him publicly. And Bonnie Keith, I appreciate her documenting whether we're happy or sad every week. So I'm feeling the love now. So now you can introduce our guest.
Are you sure?
Yeah, I'm positive. I think, wait, one more. No, I'm just kidding.
We have with us Mr. Dante Acosta.
Thank you.
Dante is a good friend of mine, known for a few years. You may have remembered he did an unheard of thing. He ran against Buck McKeon in the last congressional election. And for the time, he got into the campaign a little bit late, but he did very well, consider that. Welcome, Dante. Thanks for coming on.
Well, thank you for having me.
So let's back up to that time. What motivated you at that point in time to jump into that huge race? I mean, that's not like running for dog catcher or something. That's running for a big deal.
That's true, and I think the primary thing that motivated me was having the experience of losing our son in Afghanistan, Rudy. It was an event where we needed to reach out to our elected officials and to our government, and we did not get the kind of help and response and information that I felt we should get. So one of the things that I decided to do in that process, and I was encouraged by a lot of people locally here to basically step out and do what our founding fathers envisioned, and that's folks leave their business, that's citizens leave their businesses behind for a period of time, a short period of time, and go out and serve and bring their expertise into the Congress of the United States. We did very well. We had less than 3 months of campaigning for the primary, and we did very, very well for the amount of time and frankly money that we were able to raise in less than 3 months.
Now, you did touch on your son Rudy real fast. Some quick background on what happened to him in Afghanistan.
Real briefly, Rudy was a combat medic. He was no longer doing combat missions in Afghanistan and had volunteered on base to be a second medic on a dangerous mission. And while they were preparing for that mission, one of the Afghans that was hired by a private contractor decided that this was a great opportunity. They were cleaning the weapons, our soldiers were, along with Rudy and others, and he decided to open fire on them. It was a great opportunity to engage in an attack. It looked like he had been Talibanized, as they say. He had been hired only 10 days prior, but the worst part was that he was fired the year prior for making threats against American soldiers, so he never should have been anywhere near a base. But with paperwork snafus and things not working, and a lot of
He got under
things.
the wire.
Yeah, he got in there.
So long story short, after that terrible incident to you and your family, and you tried to check into why and what and where, you found stuff you didn't like that motivated you to enter the race.
Absolutely, and too often very big money players plays a big issue and a factor in our elections, and that's unfortunate because it drowns out a lot of qualified voices of people that can bring great experience and expertise into the Congress and represent the local communities, I think, very, very well.
Okay, so you can stick around over the break?
Oh, you bet.
Okay, so when you get back, we'll talk about your next political endeavor, okay? All right.
Are you listening to Mind Your Own Business? Hometown station AM 1220, KHTS. Pick up the Gazette. Have a good day. We'll be back soon.
This is not a voicemail.
Amber Raskin.
Don't mess with people who have a microphone. That's
right.
that's
Mind Your Own Business with Doug and Ed on AM 1220 KHTS, your hometown station. Our special guest right now is Mr. Dante Acosta, and we're going to talk about in a minute what he's doing in his political endeavors this time around. But as we do with most of our guests, we have to ask them these very, very important questions so our listeners can get to know Dante. Maybe it will help them decide if they want to vote for him.
This is like the equivalent of Mind Your Own Business speed dating. Go ahead.
Now, Dante, you have to answer these very quickly. What first comes to your mind,
Okay.
and if you don't like the question, you can say pass.
Or can't remember, you can say pass.
Favorite food you try not to eat?
Mexican.
If you could eat only one food item for the rest of your life, what would it be?
Mexican.
Where did you grow up?
Mexico.
San Fernando Valley. Well, they're pretty close.
Name a third grade teacher.
Mr. Johnson, excuse me.
Late, early, or right on time?
Right on time.
TV show you remember as a kid?
Brady Bunch.
Favorite TV show now?
Say Scandal. Why not?
Yeah, I don't ever seen that. I've forgot the name of it. But
Pass.
News from internet, newspaper, radio, or TV?
all the above.
Dance or no dance?
No dance,
Can you drive stick shift?
of course.
Worry ward or worry free?
Pretty worry-free.
Nightlight or no nightlight?
No nightlight.
Left or right?
Right.
Yes, no, or maybe?
Maybe.
First name of first kiss?
First name of first kiss? Don't remember. Pass.
Wow.
As Ed, that's the one that usually everybody wrote.
we were like 5. Okay, I mean, this is that
Started, yeah.
No, so let's just say Sarah. How's that?
Has Ed ever made your head spin?
Oh yes,
Has Doug made you cringe yet?
many times.
Okay, the two most important questions of the whole thing. Bathrobe or no bathrobe?
Bathrobe. Does that mean I have one, or do I wear it?
It's all how you
What do you
interpret. You just
prefer?
answer the way you want.
All right, and these what we really need to know if we're gonna vote for you or not. Okay. Boxers, briefs, thong, commando, or depends.
definitely boxers.
All right, thanks for putting up with us.
Depends on
you're
what he's
welcome.
wearing.
Depends. I'm almost
Okay.
I'll go there.
I have a very important question to ask
All right,
you.
I'm ready. Okay.
Why would you run for city council? I mean, don't everybody hate those people? Why would you want to be in that firing squad of...
They don't hate you while you're running. And as you alluded to, I am a candidate for the 2014 Santa Clarita City Council election. And they don't hate you until you win. About half the people hate every decision you make. And it doesn't matter if you've...
But once you've won, do they really care?
I don't know how many people care that you're running. It seems like they do, and then we get about 15,000 people in a city of 205,000 that actually vote, and we're trying very, very hard to get that awareness up so people realize how important it is in your local.
I think a lot more people talk about the election than vote. What do you think?
Definitely.
You know, and I think I'm always one that focuses on the national stuff because that's easy to do, Obama and whatnot. But I think in real terms of life, what the local government does really affects your life more than anything. So I think these type of elections are very important.
But I'm going to ask the question again. Why do you want to run for city council?
Sorry,
That was a
segue.
perfect political
Yeah.
answer, though.
You like that?
I did. It's like,
Well, here in running for Congress last year in the primary, I really came to learn that I seem to resonate with people. They seem to have, seem to trust what I was saying for some reason.
you look pretty sincere.
I'm pretty sincere. We lived here for 27 years. That's before this became a city. My wife and I, Caroline. And we raised our children here. We already mentioned Rudy. We have 2 other children that are still in school here. I think I'm still what I call relevant. I have kids from, elementary school, in Little League.
You're still vested. You're
And
not
I'm still
outside
very
the
much
loop.
vested in that. My daughter in high school. So I look at this local community and I want to practice what I preach. It's very, very important for all of us to be engaged with what's happening in your local, political structure. And the reason is because those are the things that affect you the most in your life. In terms of traffic flow, what kind of businesses they're allowing to go into your community, how safe the streets are, is your trash being picked up, all of those day-to-day things in your
Things you
life.
take for granted.
You take them for granted, and if they stink, boy, your life really can be a little bit more challenging. We live in Santa Clarita, all of us, because it's a wonderful place to live, great place to try to to do business here, raise our children, and we want to keep it that way. But we also want to improve upon what we have. At least I do.
This is a very important election. Why?
I think it's important because we have a period of time on the city council where I think it's time for some new folks to be coming in, a fresh perspective, people with different backgrounds to be coming into the city council, because we're reaching, I think, from a financial advisory background, we're reaching a point where we really need to watch what's happening as our city grows from, small town to large city, or a real city where we are now.
Okay.
And it's a vital time.
Dante, this is going to be a first. You're the first guest we've ever had on Mind Your Own Business that we've asked to stay over for a 3rd segment. The question
He is relevant.
Can
He
you
is
do
relevant.
it? Can you stay?
I can stay. I'll just text and push everything else back.
Just for us?
For you guys.
Awesome.
Absolutely.
Wow.
You're listening to Mind Your Own Business on Hometown Station AM 1220 KHTS. We'll be back in a minute.
Okay, everybody, we are back. Mind Your Own Business with Doug and Ed on AM 1220 KHTS, Santa Clarita's hometown station. Our special guest, the City Council candidate who announced, about a month ago? 2 months ago?
A couple months ago.
Yeah, Mr. Dante Acosta.
Thank you.
Dante agreed to hang over one more segment because we got some interesting stuff to talk about, right,
Is
Ed?
it too late? Can more people announce until it's next year, right?
You still have a chance. Yeah, absolutely.
When's the deadline for announcing your candidacy?
And right up to the filing deadline, which
What is
is
it,
in
September or something?
December sometime.
Dante, I'd like to ask you a question. We've ranted about this before, and I don't know if it's going to be part of your platform or if you could do anything about it as a city councilman, but the biggest complaint that I hear about the city is the permitting process. When a new store business is trying to open and they're trying to get permitted from the city, everybody that I've ever talked to that has gone through this process, it drives them absolutely
They've never said,
nuts.
"Oh, it was a breeze, no
Yeah,
problem,
I
let's
have
do
never
it."
heard that. And I know it's been bannered about. We've talked about it at Chamber of Commerce meetings or board meetings, and it is a definite issue. Is that something you want to address or have thoughts on?
Absolutely, it's part of my platform, if you will, if there's such a thing. I am very focused on economic development here in Santa Clarita. As a matter of fact, I was at a grand opening of a new retail store today. They're going to be opening about 3 more, and they commented on that. Actually, is what the permitting process was like and the challenges. They said, "Oh boy, working with the franchisor and this and the landlord, that was all piece of cake compared to dealing with the city." So that is definitely going to be one of my focuses, because if we don't attract and retain good, high quality paying jobs, not just retail stores and whatnot, where they pay minimum wage jobs to our teenagers and whatnot, we need to attract better jobs here. And if we don't have embrace absolutely
business.
Yeah, absolutely. And that is definitely something that will be my focus. I'll work on that very, very
Can you
hard.
do anything about it? Is that something a city council person can do on their own platform, or do you have to get people to agree with you?
Well, you definitely have to get people to agree with you. That's the
I
nature
hate
of the
that
city council. But I think we can be pretty persuasive. And
Committees are no fun. You
That's
got to
part
just
of the
get stuff
process.
done, right?
That's part of the process when you're dealing with other people. Have to bring in other ideas and concepts, but you have to be able to be persuasive.
It's called politics.
Called politics, exactly.
He's not a politician. He told us he's not a politician.
I'm-
You're not a politician. Explain that to me. What's the difference between you and the other politicians?
Well, I like
You
to say
care?
I'm not a politician. Well, of course I care. Well, what I think the distinction is that I am not someone whose entire life has been wrapped up in political maneuverings and
You'll go
ladders
back to
and
work
those
when
kind
you're
of things.
done.
I will go back to work when I'm done. I have been a financial advisor in this community for over 20 years and sales trainer, etc. And so one of the things that I like to bring to the table is that when we have fresh ideas from people that have different viewpoints, different ideas, and different experiences, we will bring those things to the table, and we're able to say, well, wait a minute, my experience dealing with planning department, let's say, to use that analogy, this X, Y, and Z has happened. So I think that when you have that happen, you're going to be a lot more effective city council as a whole.
They should have an expedite committee that they can look at a new business coming into town. And like if I'm at Kaiser and I'm being treated poorly, there's an advocacy that you can call and say, I can't wait 6 months to go get my heart checked. I really need to see him this week. And you call somebody and they move you to the top of the list. They should have something
You've
that
been
for the
reading
building
Yeah,
department.
you've been reading my notes, and that's one of the things I think we need to do. We have an economic development corporation here in town, which is quasi, it's a public-private relationship enterprise. But we also need to have within the city itself that kind of advocate where we can go, like you said, a patient advocate. Well, we need to have a business advocate, somewhere we can go and say, look, this is what's happening. It's taken me 3 months to get this permit, to put a sink in.
Right, and it's about sinks. It really is.
It ultimately it is. And so I think that by using the power that you would have, by being on the city council, but also just being able to be persuasive and be nice to people and persuade them of your argument, diplomatic, exactly, that you're going to be able to affect some change. And that's what I'm going to do, because we will not survive a long term if we don't have good economic opportunities and growth here.
If we get 3 new people in the city council
If,
that actually think business friendly and are not politically out of touch, it can make a huge difference in the next term, right? Is that as long as there's a majority that's not listening to what the public wants, stuff gets voted on whether we care or not. If there's 3 new people, are any of the candidates like saying, okay, there's 3 slots, let's all work together to get all 3, or do they all go individually and hope for the best?
Well, I would say there's any slate. I mean, we all hope to get elected. I mean, including the 2 incumbents that have said that they're going to run again. I think it puts the number somewhere between 5 and 8 right now, and of course that field could change. There are no slates at this point. I'm not interested in being on any kind of slate with anybody else. I think my ideas stand alone. I would welcome anybody else that gets elected. But to your point, if we had 3 new people that were all business minded and very friendly and open to businesses, it would be an immediate and an overnight change in the structure of the city council.
The smarter business people should get involved with some of this politics stuff.
Yep. Dante, we're coming to the end of our time. We want to thank you so much for coming by, and I think we might have you back.
Well, thank you very much. I appreciate you having
me. Do they
me.
need to reach him? Is there a number he can be reached if they want to give him his ideas?
Thank you very much. They can go to www.danteacosta.com. That's DanteAcosta.com.
You have a comment
or
link there.
Acosta for citycouncil@gmail.com.
Say it one more time.
Acosta, ACOSTA, for FOR, citycouncil@gmail.com is the email address.
All right. Well, thanks again for coming, and we wish you nothing but the best in your campaign.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. And you're listening to Mind Your Own Business with Doug and Ed on KHTS, your hometown station, AM 1220.